Weber made it to the semifinal. He's on a mission. Opening shot, higher seed Belmonte forces Weber to begin. And a 4-pin.
And it's interesting because during the break, Weber's allowed to practice on the alternate lane right next to the TV pair. And before both of his matches, he was actually staying warm, throwing a urethane ball. I'm thinking, I wonder if Pete's going to make the switch to that. Nope, stays with what he's been using.
Weber covers up the single pin, still having some footing issues.
Well, there's no more power outage left on the show with Jason Belmonte and A.J. Johnson left.
The two-time defending Masters champion looking for a third. No one has ever done that. Opening shot. And a matching 4-pin for Belmonte. Winning 3 in a row in majors, Jason Couch accomplished that, Randy, in the Tournament of Champions.
Yeah, and you know, I have to announce, unfortunately, that Jason Couch's mother, Darlene, passed away just a couple of nights ago, and I know there's a lot of heavy hearts out there right now, including my own, and I know everybody here, Jason's family out here. We all want to pass along our deepest condolences to Jason, his dad Cliff, and the rest of the Couch family.
And I will add my thoughts as well. And now let's head down to laneside with Kimberly.
Thanks, guys. Mike, why do you think it was that you weren't able to double until the 10th?
Transition. You know, bowling only a one-game match and only getting limited shots of practice, the lanes are going to transition quite rapidly as opposed to as they do in the qualifying or the match play. And you know, going from the practice and waiting a game and then coming in and getting a few shots, you have to make your decisions on the fly. And I just didn't make my decision with confidence to put the strikes together until towards the end of the game.
Well, how are these lanes transitioning?
Well, rapidly. With the lights and the heat, it's really warm in the set. They transition considerably faster than they did during the week. So, you know, like I said, you got to make your decisions on the fly and do it with confidence. And I just didn't do it with confidence in the beginning of the game until the end, and I gave Pete too much, you know, leeway to run him down.
Thank you so much for your time. Guys, back to you in the booth.
Belmonte crossing over for a strike.
And you can see just how much deeper Belmonte's playing than Weber. And Pete, probably a good 15 boards right of Belmonte. And Belmonte, you know, he said it, told us last night he was going to go to his A game, he was going to move way in. And got him this time.
Come on, really?
The approach got him this time. Look at that, just dead
out of
stuck.
nowhere you stick, right?
One time he slips, one time he sticks, and it's all seems to be just on that right lane. It's got to be the heat from the lighting and the humidity in the building. And players have not had to deal with that throughout the entire week.
Come on, really?
I think now Pete's trailing for the first time in any match
no problems, and
today.
then all of a sudden just out of nowhere stick.
Career majors leaders on the PBA Tour, the great Earl Anthony with 10, tied with Weber. Mike Aulby with 8, including 3 of these Masters. Walter Ray Williams Jr., 8 majors and 2 of these Masters. Weber now trailing for the first time today, third frame.
It looks like he's using the same bowling ball, but he's got a couple out there that have different drillings. He's going with a pin up on one lane and a pin down on the other.
Belmonte called his shot. He said Weber would get here and I will beat him. And he has not done so yet. Here's Belmonte, the number 2 seed, and his roll through match play, defeating Chris Kelso, Major Mika Kovuniemi, Hall of Famer Tom Baker, Anthony Lavery Spar, and then he lost in the winner's bracket championship match to A.J. Johnson. Mixing strike. Takes advantage of that crossover.
'13 title match in the Tournament of Champions when the big heavy hand guys were lofting the left gutter cap. Weber was using that great hand in rotation, and boy, he really took care of Belmonte in that matchup.
Weber says, hey, if that's what Belmonte wants to think, I'm 2-0 in TV against him. He hasn't anything to say until he beats me. And there's a look at the record. Career in TV finals between Pete Weber and Jason Belmonte. Belmonte on the double fourth frame. Powerful hit.
And there's the big difference with the power of Jason Belmonte. And we saw Weber leave a lot of 10 pins last game. And when Belmonte's bowling ball hits the pins, there's usually nothing left standing.
Important shot for Weber back on the lane. He left the 2-8-10 on fourth frame. Needs a double. And Messenger gets the 10. And out come the guns.
2 tickets to the gun show. That was a big hit because if he doesn't strike on that ball, he fails to double. Belmonte's working on a 3-bagger. Watch the action of the head pin coming across, and the nose of the head pin takes out the 10, and then Weber just gives it the business. Probably heard us talking about Belmonte's power. He says, hey, Belmonte, I got your power right here. Now he's looking to throw another strike here and cut this deficit to 14.
Between third and fourth arrow, and a mixing strike, explosive 4-pin out of that rack.
Well, that's almost been his best shot in terms of carry.
I don't want his towel on the ball return. I don't want the stuff off his towel on my ball.
There's that mixer again. It's been his best, most reliable hit today.
That's the all business Weber. Now Belmonte. His half of the beer frame, and he crosses over and gets another crossover strike.
What I'm going to lose to is Brooklyn's.
Well, you heard Pete say it himself. Belmonte's got a 4-bagger, 2 of those Brooklyns on either end. Watch this. You know, you never want to see it when it happens to you. You never want to do it when you're bowling against your opponent. Unfortunately, sometimes it's part of the game. How's that stat? He's made 9 out of 11 finals in majors.
Hurry.
Just a 2-pin. That could have been 2-8-10 territory.
Jason's in a tough spot because if he gets the ball too far to the right, he's going to go light. If he gets it left, there's no chance of that ball holding its line. Pete broke his glasses. Not sure if he's got a backup pair or not. Snapping the lens back in.
Pete also apparently irritated with the placement of Belmonte's equipment on the ball rack.
He said he didn't want his towel touching his bowling ball. We've got some action going here in match number 3. When we come back, I'm going to tell you why Jason hasn't used a razor forever. Oh, and there's going to be a Pete Weber, Jason Belmonte bowling ball comparison.
Back half of our semifinal match at a Schwaben Bowling Alley. Mike Jakubowski with Randy Peterson and Kimberly Pressler.
Mike, would you call this match an international friendly?
I would call this an international approaching unfriendly. It's a heck of a rivalry. Both of these guys have history.
Can't get it.
And the 10-pin doesn't fall. There's so much on the line. This has eluded the Weber family for years. Belmonte's trying to do what no one has done before. Belmo came in saying, I want this man. And what was Pete's response?
He said he's not afraid of these young guys. Look out.
Skinnies it. Knocks it down, spare in the box for Weber. And again, a footing issue.
Well, he's got a striking issue as well, especially on the right lane. And unfortunately for Pete Weber, he's going to have to finish on that lane. And, you know, we talked about the bowling ball that he's using. He's been going back and forth from a pin up to a pin down. He goes to the pin up, and he was telling his ball reps during the commercial break it's the only one that he feels comfortable he can hit the pocket with.
Overhooks, 3-6-10.
Left lane is broken down. It looks like it's going to start hooking now. The right lane looks like somebody poured a gob of oil right in front of the head pin, because the shot on the right lane looked really good, and it got to that spot right there and just kept accelerating straight. That one actually grabs the lane and hooks.
Weber cleans up the spare. A trio of things irritating him today. The lane approach, Belmonte equipment, and Belmonte with 2 well-placed crossover hits.
And here is Jason Belmonte's arsenal using an unhinged.
That's high.
Oh.
3-6-9-10, a particularly tough spare in this bowling center.
Yeah, because of that back pin. Remember, we talked about right before we went to break, I gave you a little something about a razor with Jason Belmonte. He said, you know what, I haven't used a razor on my face in over 6 years. I was just thinking, man, I wish I could get away with that. 3-6-9-10, tough spare. He's going to get that bowling ball to the right side of the 3 pin. The ball will drive the 6 into the 10, and he will have that bowling ball take the 9 out.
Expert cover for Belmonte, and he fills the box in the 7th. He leads by 23.
That's a really good conversion. He's going to take a re-rack on the left lane. All right, hey, let's take a look at Jason Belmonte versus Pete Weber. Their bowling balls going down the lane in this track tech talk. You're going to see a huge difference. Belmonte on the left, Weber on the right. Not only does Belmonte's ball rotate much faster, it also gets to the pins much faster.
Controlling speed, revolutions, and angle. That's why he's the 2-time PBA Player of the Year and the 2-time defending champion here. Plus 23, 8th frame.
Oh my. That was almost a massive blower 7-10. Weber could have used that in his corner. Belmonte, again, tough way to play this oil pattern. It's so flat in the middle. He's got to be really good. Throws his towel down on Pete's equipment. Pete doesn't like that. He keeps picking his towel up and throwing it off of the bowling balls. He went over and told, look out.
Missed 10 pin. By rule, ball's in the gutter, the ball stays in the gutter.
It's an open frame.
Okay.
Tournament director's going to tell Jason not to put his towel on Weber's equipment anymore. Misses the 10 pin. I mean, we've got some craziness going on right here in match number 3.
Super Slam potential versus 3-peat potential. And Weber with a re-rack.
I'm not sure Weber is going to strike again on this right lane, and he needs to. He's got to bowl the 8th and the 10th frame here. Weber better figure it out on this right lane, and then he's got to make an adjustment on the left lane.
Belmonte opened the door. Weber can double to take the lead. 8th frame. Splits the 8 and the 9.
Well, he can't take the lead, but he can cut it to 1 with a strike here.
Re-rack.
It seems like the more agitated he gets, the better he gets.
The greats can channel it. Weber can channel it.
Well, he figured out that he has to go straighter on that lane. What's he going to do on the left lane? Pete is out of re-racks now. The players are allowed 2 a game. He's done. Big shot coming up right here.
Monumental foundation frame. 7 pin.
Yeah, that's right,
Falls!
baby. Come on, don't miss. You wanted it, you got it.
Well, the greats just find a way to get it done, and this was a really slow rack, and Weber was just hoping for a break to get back in this match, and that's probably the biggest break he's gotten of this tournament.
Belmonte, after the open, his foundation, packs the pocket.
That's a great shot, and it was a great react coming off the lanes. Weber knows what Belmonte said. You talked about it. Here's the situation. If Jason Belmonte strikes out in the 10th frame, he will shut out Pete Weber. If he doesn't strike out in the 10th frame, Pete Weber can still win. Max score for Belmonte, 233. Max score for Pete Weber, 232.
And there is the possibility of a tie. 10th frame.
Great shot. You know, Belmonte knows exactly what the lanes are giving him. It's all about execution now. And he prides himself on execution. I think we really miss out on the fact that this player throws it with two hands. And he is the back-to-back reigning player of the year. He's a special talent, but he does it a totally unconventional way. We're so used to seeing him with this two-handed style, I think we lose sight. But the bottom line is, he's figured out what the lanes are giving him. It's all about execution. Can he execute here in the 10th frame?
Pure double for Belmonte.
Those are three of the greatest shots I've seen in a while. He needs one more just like it. With that power and that rev rate and those revolutions, anything can happen, though, if he's just a little bit off. He needs 9 to force Weber to get all 3 for a tie. A strike, it's all over. Anything less, Weber can get up and strike out in the 10th frame and win.
Weber will make the stepladder. I will face him. I will beat him. You can say it, but you got to do it with the ball. 10th frame.
Come on, come on. Get it.
10 pin.
Okay.
Weber needs all 3 to tie. What a great shot by Belmonte. That's something you don't see his bowling ball leave very often as a weak 10. He liked it as soon as it left his hand. I mean, he hit the head pin so hard it was coming back forward. Last shot for Weber on this right lane was really good. He went high flush. I think he's figured out this right lane, but again, it all boils down to the same thing, execution.
The last little thing Belmonte did was go get that towel to kind of remind Weber. Nope, that's high, baby split. Jason Belmonte advances. He called his shot, and he's in the title match with an opportunity to go 3 straight at the Masters. Pete Weber denied the Masters title again. Belmonte advances. He will get the amateur A.J. Johnson in the Masters title match.